What's going on, you gamers? Today we're back with some more Outriders Worldslayer. What we'll be covering today is the Pax tree for this fella right here, the Pyromancer. So if you want to know what the new unlockables are, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back everyone. Today we're back with a little bit more Outriders Worldslayer, and we'll be taking a look at the Pax tree for this fella here and just seeing what it's all about, how it's going to up your damage and what kind of special features it will bring. Now as always, if you enjoy this content, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you'd like to see more from me, then why not hit that subscribe and bell. But for now we're going to jump straight in and go over to the tree now. So as you can see, there's been a slight change up with the new Worldslayer DLC. All of this is exactly the same, although some of them have been adjusted a little bit up and down. They've made quite a few changes to the whole game, but now we're going to be looking at the Pax tree, which is kind of two subclasses given to you with the Worldslayer DLC. Each Outrider class gets two subclass trees. As you can see here, we've got the Gunblazer or the Pyromaniac. They really help you to do a lot of additional damage or just a lot of utility. So if we go over to the bottom tree, we're going to kick it off, heading towards the Pyromaniac, and we've got Melting Point. Increase your resistance piercing by 15% when above 80% health and by 30% when below 40% health. It might not sound like the most amazing node in the world, but this actually comes into play constantly, and it can be really good in those anomaly builds, and it ties in with one we've got later on. So just up here we've got Scorched Flesh. Activating Ignite skills increases your status power by 10% for 5 seconds and can stack up to 3 times. Another really good one. If you're using anomaly rounds or if you're using a phaser beam, this could definitely work in your favour. Or if you want to stick with the Akari set, again, this will be really nice. Just down here, explosive skill damage is increased by 100% of your resistance piercing. Like I said, resistance piercing works well, especially if you're going for certain build styles. This bottom row that I'm going for a really explosive damage type, and it's working very well so far. This one is just ridiculously good, especially if you can stack that resistance piercing in your skill tree, and maybe on a few mods if you can manage to spare them. Just over here we've got Convection. Obviously you have to take this one, but it's one of the best ones that you can take. Reduce all skill cooldowns by 4 seconds when all skills are on cooldown, with a 3-second cooldown, meaning you can't spam it over and over, so you've constantly got all of your skills up. But that 3 seconds isn't very long whatsoever. It means if you wanted to move away from actual cooldowns in your build, you probably could do, because this is going to do a fair chunk of cooldown even by just having this. Just up the top, and we've got Furnace. Increase your status power by 15% for every enemy afflicted with burn, and stacks up to 5 times. Now I've yet to see how this works in action. I haven't got a build together perfect yet, but 15% is actually pretty tasty in certain playstyles. Again, phaser beam comes straight to mind because of how much extra damage it will be doing from that status power. I'm guessing if you're going to be sticking with the Akari set, or if you're going to be stacking anything that chucks out a lot of burn, this will be a real one to watch out for. Just down from here, and we've got your anomaly power is increased by 30% for every skill on cooldown. Very much tying in with this. As you can see, these all link together absolutely amazing. And now you've got 30% for every skill on cooldown. So if you've got all of your skills on cooldown, you're going to have a whopping 90%. I've not tried it yet to see if it stacks with additional, say for example if you've got 2 thermal bombs, but I'm guessing it's probably just if it's the whole skill on cooldown, so probably 90's max. Just up from here for the middle tree, and we've got reduce your skill cooldown by 15%, so just a straight up skill cooldown reduction. Not the most amazing out of all of these, but it is definitely still nice. Jumping up to the top tree, and we've got Burnt Offerings. Increases your burn duration by 500%, and each consecutive burn tick on an enemy deals 10% more damage. Now that's actually pretty significant. The thing you've got to think to yourself, will it be enough? In the original base game, the tick damage just was never enough to outweigh anything else, so it'd be good to see if this tree here, because you'll probably be going all of this top tree, will actually make it viable, or if again you're going to pull away from it a little bit because you'll want to be nuking those enemies faster than the damage over time actually kicks in. Jumping down to the bottom one, and we've got Trigger Sequence. Activating an explosive skill increases the damage of the next explosive skill by 25%, and the buff stacks up to 3 times, at which it starts anew, meaning you can get 75% extra explosive damage. Honestly, for the build I'm going to be going for, these right here make it crazy, absolutely crazy. If you want to see a nice build for a pyro, I should have one coming up in a day or so once I've sorted all of my gear out, because I couldn't really get on for the first day. But that right there is massive, really good, pretty much for anyone who's looking to do an explosive build. And just up to the middle one, we've got Arsonist. Activating skills has a 30% chance to reset all skill cooldowns with a 5-second cooldown. Now again, that one is really good. I would say if you are going to go this middle tree, you're probably going to want to invest in a lot of extra skills. For example, the 2s, 3s, whatever multiples you've got on, you will want to make sure you've got a lot of them so that you've got that activating whenever possible. If you've got just kind of one of each, this is probably not going to be the tree for you. If you've got a lot going on and you're tapping your skills constantly, this one could work out very well. So jumping up to the top here and heading towards the Gunblazer, we're going to kick it off with coming in hot. Deals 15% more damage to enemies above 80% health and 30% more damage to enemies below 30% health. Just a nice, easy, guaranteed damage buff, and a greatly appreciated one in pretty much any gun build. Just up the top we've got Ashen Regalia. Killing mocked enemies increases your damage mitigation by 7% for 6 seconds and stacks up to 3 times. This is awesome to see, it really is. If you need a bit of survivability in your build, this could be ridiculously good. 21% when you've killed 3 mocked targets. You'll be able to do that very easily with some great builds, meaning you're going to have that damage negation up pretty much constantly. Just down here and we've got Ashen Wake. Your shots damage all enemies afflicted with ash within a 4 meter radius of the target, dealing 30% of the damage dealt. That again could work really good. I'll have to see how the playstyle works because you will need ash in it, but 30% around the target could be absolutely amazing in the right build. Just up here, and one you're going to have to take, will be Hot Streak. Critical shots increase weapon damage by 6%. The bonus lasts 4 seconds and stacks up to 5 times. So if you've got a really good build on, this tree up here is mainly to do with your weapon damage. If you're getting a lot of kills or a lot of crit shots and such, this is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to give you 30% extra weapon damage as long as you're able to hit those crit shots constantly. Just up from here and we've got Carbonization. Enemies hit by your immobilized skill receive 20% more anomaly damage for 4 seconds. Again, this could be a really good one, and it's going to work hand in hand with Feed the Flames, especially if you're trying to get back your anomaly rounds. Just down from there and we've got Solar Flare. Activating skills increases your critical damage by 10% for 6 seconds and stacks up to 2 times. As you can see, these two again are linking up very well. You're going to have a lot of critical damage going on. It looks like the bottom path is straight up damage from your weapon, the top half is kind of intertwined with your skills and such, but 20% additional crit damage could work out amazing, especially if you're good with those headshots. Just up from here and we've got increase your magazine size by 200%. That is one I really probably would want to get hold of. It all depends what kind of playstyle you're going with though. If you are going with that Feed the Flames, I don't think you'll need this. If you're not, that one is going to be amazing for keeping hold of that extra magazine size. So it all depends what your playstyle and what mods you've got on. Jumping up from there and the end of the top tree, we've got Carbon Footprint. Each enemy hit by immobilized skills reduces the cooldown of other immobilized skills by 0.5 seconds. Pretty much if you go in this top path, you are going to want to be speccing into your Ashen builds, otherwise this isn't going to work out too much in your favour. You're going to want to be Ashing them, you're going to want to be immobilizing them and using your Feed the Flames and such whenever you can, and this is going to work out really well because you'll be able to get them back very fast. Just down from there and we've got Critical Mass. Critical shots on mocked enemies turns all shots to critical shots for 2 seconds. It doesn't say it stops, so I'm guessing that could be constant. I'm not sure if it's got any kind of a leeway with it. You can manage to do that constantly. That's going to be absolutely amazing because you're not going to have to worry too much about your headshots. You're just going to have to bop back to them every once in a while. But overall, if you're really good with your accuracy and you've been playing as a gun build, you've probably got your headshots down. So I don't know if that would be the one I'd go for. Whereas this one up here, it definitely is. Shots with assault weapons increase your weapon damage by 3%. This effect stacks until you stop shooting. I am seriously confused by this node, because if that's as good as I think it is, especially when it's paired with this, and if you wanted to get your anomaly rounds on, and if you're trying to do boss damage, that doesn't say anything about stopping. 3% with your shots, with your weapon damage, until you stop shooting. That's ridiculous. If you can manage to put together a build that has a massive clip size, or just can get their shots back through something else, obviously it wouldn't be Feed the Flames because I'm guessing that would class as stop shooting, but you could make some crazy damage with your weapons and probably expect this to, I would say, get an adjustment. I might be wrong, I've not tested it, but that looks like it's one of the most powerful nodes to me, just because alongside this, even if you had an LMG, which I think has been buffed now, you could probably do some crazy numbers by just holding down that trigger and just absolutely mowing down that boss enemy by having so much extra damage coming from your bullets. But yeah, I've yet to test this one. I am definitely going to test this one. Let me know in the comments what you think of the skill tree. I absolutely love these Pax Trees, and even though they're just a little addition, it's only 5 points you get, so it's not going to light the world on fire, but it does actually make your build much stronger and a lot more fun to play, I think. I'll be making quite a few builds, I'll be doing quite a few guides on this game, as well as covering the other Pax Trees. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on next day.